Back when I was a gamer, I used to think performing to the best of my ability every single game, every single session was the best way to improve. But I'm here to tell you that it really isn't. And I'm also here to tell you how performance versus practice actually works. But in order for us to understand this entire concept, we have to begin with the very foundations of it all. What does it mean to practice and what does it mean to perform? You have to understand both, so buckle your seatbelts and grab some food because I'm about to explain. Performance is the execution of an action or the presentation of an artistic work. So in a video game, it would be the thousands of hours spent in a deathmatch trying to improve your aim. Or in calisthenics, it's the sheer amount of reps you do to improve your volume so that you can compete well in a competition. So if that's what performance is, then practice must be the polar opposite, no? Well, yes and no, because you see, practice is the repeated performance of an activity to acquire or improve a skill. Okay, so now we have a definition for both. Great. But what are we going to do with this information? Well, you see, if you're always in performance mode, then you're operating with a fixed mindset and you're not open for growth. Because if you think about it, when you're performing, your goal is not to improve, right? When you're performing, your goal is to win. It's to conquer everything and everyone. So if you can't practice when you're performing, then why would you perform when you're practicing? What I'm trying to say is that they're both important. You just need to know when to use this one and when to use that one, because you cannot use them at the same time. If you're only going into ranked games and you're never going into DMs or you're never going into custom games and isolating your skill sets so you can improve them individually, then you won't ever become the greatest, or you won't really make as much improvement as you could if you did this properly. But before you misunderstand me, I don't only mean physically performing or physically practicing. I mean the intention as well. Mentally. Are you in a mental state where you're performing or you're practicing? If you're training front lever, you can't spend every single training session doing only combos, right? Well, technically you can, but it's not optimal, it's not efficient. Each session should have a goal, a purpose, something that you're working towards. Because if you don't, then your sessions will be directionless. It applies the same way to a game. Because I mean, sure, you're playing DMs, you're playing custom games, but if you're doing it without an intention, if you're just randomly playing a DM and you're just clicking heads, you're not really improving because you're dozing off. You're not there. You're not present in the moment. And this applies in your training sessions too. Practice isn't enough. It isn't enough to just be in a mental state of, yes, I'm practicing, I'm isolating skill sets, and I'm working on them. You need to have a direct intention. If anyone ever tells you, yes, you should be performing 100% in your sessions, you should be performing 110% in your sessions, don't listen to them. Please don't. Because you don't need to be at 100% all the time, especially not during your practice. Okay? There are times when you're doing 70% or 60%. You don't need to be going 100% all the time. You don't, please. I'm not sure how good of a job I've done so far explaining why you shouldn't mix performance and practice together. Hopefully it's good enough that you kind of understand. If not, then comment below. I'll definitely reply. I'll help you out. I'll try to make you understand even more. But it's just guys. So now I'm actually gonna get into more of the uncut stuff, so there's not gonna be any pauses now. It's gonna be my authentic self. If I make any mistakes, so be it, right? I wanted to explain another reason why it's so dangerous to always want to perform, right? Guys, when you're always performing or you're trying to perform at your best all the time, you just gotta know it's not gonna work because we're not robots. We're gonna make mistakes. We're human, right? You physically and mentally cannot be at your top every session. You can try. Maybe you were lucky. Maybe you had 2 sessions in a row where you were performing amazingly well. You could hold a planche for 8 seconds, a full planche for 8 seconds, but then let's say second day it was 7, but it was still pretty good. And then suddenly day 4 or day 5 comes and then you go back to a straddle planche and you can't even hold 1 second of a full, right? A drastic drop in performance. And that is when most of you would get demotivated. But why would you get demotivated? You should know that this is normal. What isn't normal is performing the same every single time. It's just not realistic. So before you even think for a second, I'm not making any progress, I'm losing progress. You're not losing progress, right? Your best ever performance on a certain day, let's say Tuesday, you hit a crazy PR. That PR is not you. That PR doesn't resemble who you are right now. That PR was something that happened when the stars aligned, everything matched, every requirement met each other, right? And you happen to be at the best, the pinnacle. What makes you think that the pinnacle of your strength is gonna be your baseline? The way you should be thinking about your strength, your skill level, is by, like, you want to be improving your skill floor, not your skill ceiling, because your skill ceiling is gonna fluctuate, right? It's gonna sometimes, the line is gonna bounce up here and it's gonna go back down, but the skill floor is certain. So now you hopefully understand that performance cannot be maintained, or at least top level performance cannot be maintained every single session. It's not possible. And that is exactly why you should discard all of that. Don't even think about performance, right? Unless you're competing, don't think about performance, or unless you're at a meetup or something, or an event that's important to you, right? Think of it as practice. Every single session that you have is practice, 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 practice. You go to a friend training session, right? A couple of you there, and yeah, you'd have the feeling that you need to perform, you need to show them, you need to flex and just show off. No. Maybe for your first few sets, but ultimately treat every single session as practice, right? And you have to admit to yourself that, yes, I'm a human. There will be terrible sessions, there will be great sessions, there will be sessions, there will be what the heck is that even me sessions. There will be a variety of different type of performances, right? Yes, performances. There'll be a variety of performances in your practice, even though we just spent like 6 or 7 minutes saying that there's different things, right? But anyway, what you gotta understand is that this is the most sure way of approaching your training. Everything is about improving, and it's going to be inconsistent. And I've mentioned this in previous videos too. Inconsistencies don't just go away when you reach a high level. I could argue that I'm a fairly elite level in front lever, and that doesn't automatically make me like immune to inconsistencies. I'm still inconsistent, but my inconsistencies lie on a higher level than yours. You're inconsistent with maybe front lever holds. I'm inconsistent with sat holds, right? It's a different level. I'm not any less inconsistent than you. I'm the same level of inconsistent as you, but on a different plane, on a different level. And that's all there is to it, guys. So honestly, I think I said all I had to say. I don't want to ramble too much, because then this video is going to become way too long. Hopefully this helped. Hopefully you do understand, and if you don't, then unlucky. And yeah, hopefully the gaming analogies helped. Anyway, I'm gonna go eat my rice because I've been recording for like an hour and I haven't eaten anything. So like and subscribe, comment below, and get me to 1 billion followers. Let's go.